Hi everybody, welcome back. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are having a good weekend. I am down here on my boat, just hanging out, chilling, and I had a little project that I had been thinking about doing. Very simple one, pretty straightforward. What I wanted to go do is set up a Natting router/proxy. So the idea is I've got a little USB cell modem. I can go plug it into a Raspberry Pi, and I can go ahead and use that as a way to have Wi-Fi for the boat. If I have a couple people over, it's nice to be able to go take, all of their sessions, because it's going to be, all over a cell modem. And to use something like a proxy to go reduce the amount of bandwidth. Useful anytime that you're kind of bandwidth constrained. But you could also go do this with a whole bunch of different varieties of it. So you might do an ad blocking proxy, for example, or you could just go use Squid to go accelerate things. So this is the kind of project that I've done a bunch of different times. I've had a Natting Firewall at home for God knows how long. That's Linux based, and I think it's a good sort of starter project. So what I thought that I would do is a little bit of a challenge. So I know that there's a number of people that are relatively new to IT and DevOps and that whole career path, and I thought that this would be a good project that you guys could try and follow along with, and that we could sort of go do together. Now, the caveat here is that this is going to be something that I think you could do a bunch of different ways. So I'm not going to give you a definitive way to go do it. I'm just going to go show you an example of how I'm going to do it. Additionally, one of the other things that is worth looking at is, for those of you guys who are relatively new, I want you to do this not like you're doing this at home, but like you're doing this as part of your job. So what we'll do is we'll probably start off by looking at a fairly basic, straightforward example of how to go set up a Linux box to be a Natting firewall. We'll then go add Squid to it, or ad blocking proxy, whatever we want to go do. And then you can have a variant of this. This is not like a project that I'm grading anybody on. This is just follow along, try to learn from it. And then what I want to go do is I want to start applying things like best practices. So if this is something that we're going to do for a work environment, we're going to need to have this be documented. We're going to need to have this be reliability, or be reliable. We're going to need to have service level indicators and objectives that we're going to want to look at potentially meeting, figure out how we're going to go define those, what are reasonable ones, how are we going to set up the indicators to determine if we are meeting those SLAs. We're going to probably want to do things like have some high availability in there. We're probably going to want to automate as much of the setup as possible so that it's reproducible, and not have this be something that we're doing manually, but we're doing as part of a deployment or code, however you want to go do it. Now with a firewall, it's a little bit of an anomaly, because generally what you're going to do is you're going to use something like infrastructure as code and have like maybe an Ansible that pushes it out, whereas this is going to be what's giving out your DHCP addresses and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be a little bit more, there's going to be probably a little bit of manual kind of piece to it, but maybe then we hook into like a GitHub and we pull our stuff down, and we then install our files. So that's basically the idea. So what I'm going to do is we'll have a series of videos on this topic. I think what we can do is we can use the comment section down below the videos to discuss potential ideas for how to go set this up. This does not need to be on a Raspberry Pi. In fact, what I'm probably going to go do when I'm showing you guys this and when we're talking about it is to do it in a virtual environment. And that's a good best practice as well. I mean, you don't go directly to production. You go through a lab environment. You go set it up. You make sure that it's going to be working. You get the deployment stuff locked in. Maybe have some tests to go verify that everything is working. And then once you have that set up, you can then go push that to your production environment. So we can go look at things like that and do it on VMware instead, or do it on VirtualBox or whatever KVM, whatever kind of virtualization you'd like to. Probably Hyper-V if you wanted to do that. Although Hyper-V is a little bit, not my favorite. Anyway, so that's the idea. If you would like to join in on this, comment down below to let me know that you're going to be participating. And yeah, jump in with some ideas of how you might want to go do it. I'm probably going to reach out to a couple other YouTube channels to see if they would like to potentially participate in this, and maybe give some variants of how one might go set this up, because the way that I'm going to go do it is not going to be universal. There are a bunch of different ways to go implement this. You could use pfSense, you could go use OpenBSD or FreeBSD as one of the operating systems. You could be using Squid, you could be using IP tables to do a transparent proxy. You could be giving out a proxy URL via DHCP and do auto configuration. You could do this through a GUI using something like Webmin, or a firewall builder tool. You get the idea. There's a bunch of different ways to go do it. What we want to do is we want to get to an end goal that is something that is going to be production ready, that for those of you guys who are newer to this, you can then take and put on your resume as an example of a project that you've done. So like capital P project. So when somebody asks you about it, you can say, well, let's look at the network diagram. I can show you what this looks like, and this is my thinking for how we did it, and you can go set that kind of thing up. So this is sort of along the veins of hiring yourselves, and I think it'll be a fun project. So consider it, check it out. If you'd like to participate, comments down below. If you're new to the channel, we do stuff like this. I talk about IT career. I use the term IT, but I use it in the more traditional sense, where it's just information technology generally. So that encompasses site reliability engineering, that encompasses DevOps, that encompasses Unix administration, scripting, cloud stuff, all that. So if you're new to the channel and you like this kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe. Normally I'm at my office with a much better microphone and setup, so if this is your first time watching the channel and you don't love the audio, my apologies, forgive me for that. But the idea is, hopefully you will be able to get to a point where you will also have a career that is established enough and going well enough that you can have a boat that's big enough for you to worry about setting up a router on. And what happens when you have a whole bunch of people over and they're all using the internet, which is my my sort of driving issue. So anyway, have a great one. Take care of yourself. Subscribe if you haven't beforehand. Like the video if you did, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.